Welcome to the DCTV News at Noon program. I'm Kelsey Kiesling.
And I'm Kendra Cook. Dolores County Broadcasting Network is the producer of DCTV with support from the Southwest TV Translator Association.
If you have a news topic or event you'd like to see covered, give us a call. The studio number is 677-4119.
Today's show runs Thursday at noon, 3 and 6 p.m. and again is re-aired later throughout the weekend with the other weekday broadcast replays. Today's May 31st, 2018, and now the news at noon.
According to the Cortez Journal, charges were filed Wednesday against the 5 suspects who were arrested in mid-May in connection with a Cortez drug trafficking investigation. Romel Aviles Reyes, Ezekiel Biard, Jesse Valenzuela, and Lindell and Sherry Clark were all charged with drug-related felonies. Aviles Reyes, Biard, and Valenzuela have preliminary hearings scheduled for June. The Clarks will appear in court June 6 to demand preliminary hearings. The 5 were arrested the week of May 31st after a months-long investigation by local law enforcement and the Southwest Drug Task Force. The Clarks and Biard are suspected of selling large amounts of meth and heroin in the Four Corners area, and California residents Valenzuela and Aviles Reyes are suspected of delivering the drugs. Their court appearances, originally scheduled for May 23rd, were delayed until Wednesday after District Attorney Will First said he was still awaiting law enforcement reports. All their bonds were reduced, but Biard is the only one to bond out of custody so far. Aviles Reyes and Valenzuela were both charged with possession of a controlled substance with intent to distribute, a Class 1 felony. Aviles Reyes' preliminary hearing was set for June 13th at 2:30 p.m. in Montezuma County Court. Valenzuela's hearing was set for June 27th at 2:30 p.m. Biard was charged with 2 counts of distributing a controlled substance, a Class 3 felony, and possession of drug paraphernalia. Montezuma County Judge Jenny Lynn Lawrence ruled he was not eligible for a preliminary hearing, so his case will be continued in the 22nd Judicial District Court, starting with an arraignment on June 6th at 8:30 a.m. Lindell and Sherry Clark were each charged with 2 counts of distributing a controlled substance. They will appear in court June 6th for preliminary hearing demand.
An update on the Horse Park fire from the Journal, photos San Miguel Sheriff's Office and TJ Holmes. The Horse Park fire, burning in a remote area between Dove Creek and Norwood since Saturday, has grown, triggering pre-evacuation orders. But firefighters are making progress on containment, according to fire officials. A larger Type 2 firefighting unit took over on Tuesday, and more crews are actively working to suppress the fires, said Shauna Hartman, Public Information Officer for the Rocky Mountain Incident Management Blue Team stationed in Norwood. We are making good progress on the north and south sides, strengthening the containment lines, she said. No injuries or structures have been reported lost due to the fire. The San Miguel Sheriff's Office has issued pre-evacuation orders for residents in the Sandys Fort Pass and North Mountain areas located east and southeast of the fire. Pre-evacuation means be prepared to leave at a moment's notice by packing up essential items and medications. Make sure you have a full tank of gas and have a plan on where to take your pets and animals, said Susan Lilly, Public Information Officer for the San Miguel Sheriff's Office. She said deputies have been going door to door to inform the residents. There is also a road closure near the fire at Road 28T and Highway 141 to prevent onlookers from getting too close to the fire. Landowners and fire personnel will still be allowed to get through, though, Lilly said. Fire containment was reported at 5% Tuesday, but, quote, we expect that number to jump considerably once new calculations come in Wednesday evening, Hartman said. According to the InciWeb wildfire tracker on Wednesday, 105 personnel were involved with the Horse Park fire. An infrared flyover conducted Tuesday evening revealed the fire was at about 1,240 acres, a smaller footprint than the 1,500 acres reported on Tuesday. There are unburned pockets of fuel within that acreage, creating a mosaic pattern within the fire perimeter, Hartman said. The fire is burning moderately through Pinyon, Juniper, and Gamble Oak, but could flare up Thursday due to 20 to 35 mile-an-hour southwest winds and warmer, dry weather. The focus will be strengthening containment lines where winds could push the fire, Hartman said. The area is relied on by ranchers, so firefighters are working to protect grazing lands and ranchers' cabins. The fire is burning near the Spring Creek Basin wild horse herd and has not crossed the management area boundary. It is also burning just outside the boundary of the McKenna Peak Wilderness Study Area. Hartman said firefighting efforts and a plateau on the fire's western flank are preventing the fire from crossing into the wild horse range, where 65 horses are managed by the BLM under the Wild Free-Roaming Horses and Burros Act. TJ Holmes, a BLM volunteer who helps manage the herd, said Tuesday that the horses were not threatened. The fire has not entered the herd management area, she said, and is burning northeast of the boundary. It does not seem like the horses are in any danger, she said. The fire appears to be moving north. We are very appreciative of the firefighting efforts. Holmes said she saw planes and helicopters drop slurry and water on and near the fire Sunday through Tuesday, and helicopters carrying water were hitting hotspots on Wednesday, officials said. The fire also is burning in an area of Gunnison sage-grouse habitat. The rare bird is listed as threatened under the Endangered Species Act. Hartman said special precautions are being taken to protect the bird, including limiting the use of bulldozers to cut fire lines and informing firefighters about its sensitive nature. The fire was caused by lightning around 10 p.m. May 26 in San Miguel County near Disappointment Valley. It's burning on Bureau of Land Management and some private lands. Fire behavior started out erratic, but has since become more moderate to mild. It could flare up because of expected winds this week. There continues to be single tree torching and small runs. Dry fuel moisture is driving the fire, with conditions close to the dry years of 2002 and 2012, which saw many fires, Hartman said. Ignition probability, a measure of likelihood that a spark hitting fuel will flame up, is 97%. Fire crews are working a quarter of a mile around the fire to check for spot fires caused by embers. Federal and state firefighters are attacking the blaze from ground and air. Local firefighting agencies in Gunnison, Norwood, Hotchkiss, and Telluride have also helped in the fight. Roads are being used for fire breaks, and a previous burn to the north of the fire is expected to aid firefighting efforts. We're cautiously optimistic. Our goal is 100% containment, Hartman said.
Reported by the Cortez Journal, a man killed in a shootout with Bureau of Land Management officers in western Colorado killed 2 people and wounded 5 others at a bar in Colorado Springs 25 years ago. The Mesa County Coroner's Office said Tuesday that 67-year-old Eugene Herbert Bayless died of multiple gunshot wounds. The Gazette reports that he was acquitted in the 1993 shootings after his attorneys argued he fired in self-defense after a motorcycle gang member shot him in the face earlier with a pellet gun. Authorities say 2 BLM Rangers were checking on a van parked on BLM property near Grand Junction Sunday when Bayless fired at the officers, hitting one in his protective vest. The other officer returned fire, killing Bayless. The Daily Sentinel reports the BLM hasn't provided an update on the wounded officer.
From the Journal, photo courtesy Wesley Burge. The San Juan County Sheriff's Office is investigating an incident from Sunday in which 2 all-terrain vehicles went off-road illegally and damaged pristine alpine tundra north of Silverton. 2 ATVs were spotted about 1:30 p.m. driving across the alpine wetlands in Velocity Basin below Storm Peak. The area is adjacent to Silverton Ski Mountain, and many ski runs go through the basin. Silverton resident Wesley Burge was in the area to go hiking with his wife and a friend when he spotted the ATVs. Burge immediately took out his camera and took photos of the vehicles. They came around to us and I said, "Are you aware driving off-road like this is illegal?" Burge said. He said they didn't know the road ended, which it's pretty obvious. I didn't buy that excuse. Angered about the damage the ATVs caused to the alpine tundra, Burge posted the photos to Facebook, hoping to identify the driver and occupants of the vehicles. Word of the illegal ride caught the attention of the San Juan County Sheriff's Office, which immediately began an investigation, Sheriff Bruce Conrad said. Anywhere that's not obviously a marked road is illegal, and we're very determined to catch people doing such, he said. When in doubt, don't go there. Deputies went up to the area and took drone footage of the damage, Conrad said. They were literally sliding sideways over the marsh, through heavy wetland, into rock, over snow, leaving tire tracks all over up there, Conrad said. Through social media, Conrad said authorities were able to identify the people involved in the incident. He said 6 people from Colorado Springs were involved. The group had rented the ATVs from a company in Ouray. It was our Facebook community, really, that got it on it quickly, Conrad said. and the OHV off-highway vehicles community really stepped up to the plate to police themselves and make sure these folks were brought to justice. Conrad said the people have yet to be ticketed. Penalties for the illegal ride can include fines and restitution costs. With a growing number of ATVers visiting Silverton, illegal off-road rides that damage mountain terrain are becoming more common. The town of Silverton opened some streets to ATV use in the spring of 2014, which has drawn more visitors each year. It's getting more and more common every year, Conrad said. There's just more OHVs now. That segment of visitors is growing exponentially, and we have a certain percentage acting poorly.
Reported by the Durango Herald, authorities say a state corrections officer shot an inmate who was trying to escape from a courtroom in northeastern Colorado. 29-year-old Brian Estrada was shot at the Logan County Courthouse in Sterling on Wednesday afternoon. The Colorado Bureau of Investigation, which is investigating the shooting, says Estrada was treated at a hospital in Sterling and then taken to Denver Health Medical Center. Court was closed for the day after the shooting. No other injuries were reported, and investigators have not released any other details. The sheriff's office initially said multiple officers were involved, but the corrections department later clarified that only one officer opened fire. That officer is on paid administrative leave. And now let's take a look at the weather.
Our national weather map is clearing out a bit with the southwest and central U.S. under dry, high-pressure conditions, while the Pacific Northwest is experiencing another band of rains with thunderstorms and even potential snow over the northern Rockies, and severe weather over Montana with possible flooding as well. From the central plains across the eastern seaboard, the remnants of Tropical Depression Alberto continue to bring rains, with severe rains and potential for more flooding across Arkansas, Tennessee, Kentucky, parts of Missouri, southern Illinois, and Indiana. Regionally, we have a red flag warning in effect for much of eastern Utah and western Colorado from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. today, and again, now it's been extended to Friday evening at 10 p.m. Hot and dry conditions are expected today with gusty southwest winds developing by midday. This will result in red flag conditions with vegetation remaining critically dry. The winds ease up tonight, but the dry weather will continue. Critical fire weather conditions are expected to redevelop by mid-morning Friday with gusty southwest winds and low relative humidity persisting through Friday evening. Looking ahead, thunderstorms may return to Colorado's southern mountains Sunday and Monday. And today's 5-day DCTV outlook shows today sunny with a high near 80, breezy with a south wind 10 to 15 miles an hour, increasing to 15 to 20 miles an hour in the afternoon. Winds could gust as high as 35. Tonight mostly clear with a low around 48 degrees and breezy with a south-southeast wind 15 to 20 miles an hour, decreasing to 10 to 15 miles an hour after midnight. Winds could gust as high as 35 degrees. Then Friday, sunny with a high near 77, south-southeast winds 10 to 15, becoming west-southwest in the afternoon. Winds could gust as high again as 30 miles an hour. Friday night, clear with a low around 44 degrees, west-southwest winds 5 to 15 miles an hour, becoming north-northeast after midnight. And then Saturday, we clear up with sunny skies and a high near 84, north-northeast winds calming down to 5 to 10 miles an hour, becoming west in the afternoon. Saturday night, a 20% chance of showers comes in after midnight, partly cloudy with a low around 51. Sunday, a 30% chance of showers persists before noon, and then mostly sunny with a high near 83 degrees. Sunday night, mostly clear with a low around 49. Monday, sunny with a high near 86. Monday night, mostly clear with a low around 51. And Tuesday, sunny with a high near 83. And Tuesday night, mostly clear with a low around 49. And now, back to the news.
Reported by the Cortez Journal, a man who had fallen at the north end of Animas City Mountain was taken by helicopter to Mercy Regional Medical Center around 4 p.m. Sunday. Butch Knowlton, director of La Plata County Search and Rescue, said the call about an injured hiker or rock climber came in around midday, and it took some time before ground crews could reach the injured man. Knowlton said crews from Flight for Life were able to get closer to the injured man first, and they were later joined by ground crews who hiked to the scene. Knowlton said the man fell between 20 to 25 feet. He had to be extracted and raised to a cliff above him. Knowlton did not know the man's name or details about the man. He also did not have details about the injury the man suffered.
From the Durango Herald, water wars, not just a movie, but a reality in southwest Colorado. Photos by Jerry McBride. La Plata County residents who need potable water during the summer drought will will need to find it somewhere other than the city of Durango, unless they are already WaterDock customers. The city stopped accepting new WaterDock customers about 2 weeks ago, saying if it takes on more clientele during the drought, it may have to institute water restrictions earlier, said Jared Biggs, Assistant Utilities Director. La Plata County is currently in an exceptional drought, the most critical drought listing by the U.S. Drought Monitor. We are balancing our supply and demand at this point in time, Biggs said. Some La Plata County residents are already reporting their wells going dry. The city's current WaterDock users have consumed on average 3.87 million gallons of water annually over the last 3 years, he said. The city's water use ranges from about 3.2 million to 3.9 million gallons per day on average, according to annual audits. The city issues customers cards to purchase water at the dock and has 1,223 active cards, he said. County resident Mark Condiati said he recently attempted to buy water from the city but was told at Durango City Hall he would need to travel to Bayfield or Ignacio to purchase bulk water. They are restricting water from people who need it, he said. The city of Durango isn't the only WaterDock owner considering how to handle the drought. Bayfield could have to tap into its water reserves in Valecito Lake this summer, which could prompt more water restriction measures for its customers, town manager Chris LeMay said. The town already requires residents to water every other day and prohibits them from watering during the day, he said. The town has seen an increase in consumption at its water docks since February, and the town might consider staffing the water dock to limit consumption. Our first priority customers are residents and the businesses in the town of Bayfield, he said. The town would have to staff the dock because the town's water sales are cash-based and there is no automated way to limit sales, he said. WaterDock sales are about 5% of the town's water consumption. The La Plata Archuleta Water District operates a water dock south of Oxford and does not expect to limit sales, General Manager Ed Tolan said. We believe we have sufficient water to make it through the summer, he said. The district serves 195 water dock accounts and has sold 386,000 gallons this month, he said. Demand for the district's water has risen in recent months, a trend he expects to continue. If necessary, the district could limit how much water customers are able to purchase each month through an automated system, he said.
Reported by the Durango Herald with a photo from the Durango Herald file, a bear and her 2 yearlings were trapped and euthanized Tuesday after breaking into multiple homes during the past 3 weeks in Durango. The bears had either broken into or attempted to break into 6 homes near Florida Road and in the Skyridge subdivision, said Matt Thorpe, Area Wildlife Manager for Colorado Parks and Wildlife. It is likely the bears caused other problems that were never reported, he said. It is not a decision CPW takes lightly. However, euthanizing the bears was the only option for CPW officers in this case, because the bears had regularly sought food in homes, he said. The bears broke into homes through dog doors, a window, and pushed their way into garages. In one case, bears failed to break into a home but ripped off a screen door, Thorpe said. The bears associated people with food, and if CPW relocated the bears, they likely would have continued the behavior, he said. They were the first bears to be euthanized this season.
From the Telluride Daily Planet, photo credit Rob Story. Telluride's special town council meeting seemed to reaffirm the notion that small town residents in the West are not particularly fond of bureaucrats in Washington, telling them how to run their affairs. Last month, the executive vice president of PETA, Tracy Ryman, set off a local firestorm when she scolded, quote, Telluride's town council should never allow any business that would force skittish horses to haul heavy carriages on chaotic town streets. Today's kind public wants nothing to do with businesses that exploit animals, and PETA is calling on Telluride to join many other cities across the country that have banned these cruel and archaic operations, end quote. It is not known whether Raymond has ever visited Telluride or has any earthly idea how, quote, chaotic our streets are, they said. One thing is for certain, if she comes to town on a Tuesday this summer, Raymond will likely see horses that aren't at all skittish, hauling a driver and 14 tourists on a carriage. After more than an hour of public comment and discussion, Mayor Sean Murphy and Town Council voted unanimously to amend Telluride Municipal Code Chapter 7, adding a division applicable to horse-drawn carriage rides, thus establishing a regulatory framework for permitting possible tours. Telluride Wranglers and the Telluride Historical Museum first approached Town Council in April about conducting historical tours via equine. Then PETA weighed in, and council members began receiving hundreds of identical sounding letters telling them what to do. Councilmember Delaney Young estimated 1,000 emails, mostly out of town, flooded her inbox, many claiming that Telluride would suffer consequences if approved carriages. Personally, I don't like threats, she said. The public comment period of the meeting saw multiple citizens stand up to defend Telluride wranglers and admonish outsiders from prying into local affairs. The museum's Pepper Rapper urged, "Don't let outside influencers take over what's happening here. Horses were bred for thousands of years before PETA," claimed Wrangler Rowdy Rudebush. "That attitude of 'don't tell me what to do' has made Telluride what it is. We should let people from the east tell us how to run our town." When Telluride Wranglers owner Noah Gregory stood up, he said, "Thanks for your patience with all these PETA emails. I've received lots of them too, and I've made my email address and phone number accessible to anyone who wanted to discuss our operation, and not one person has ever called me to talk about my horses." End quote. Gregory explained that the Belgian horses used in the proposed tours are the, quote, "same team we used in the 4th of July parade last year. They weigh 2,200 pounds each. You won't see a Belgian racing on a track in Kentucky. Belgians are gentle giants. They're cold-blooded and never spook. These boys have worked so much harder than they would have to in town." Gregory added, "We're only looking at operating 1 day a week on Tuesdays, with 1 hour-long rides starting at 1 p.m. and one at 2:30 p.m. Between tours, the horses will get water and rest at the museum, where they'll be out of the hustle and bustle of the streets." Many of the dozens of people wedged into Rebecca Hall wore cowboy hats and boots. Only one person, Maureen Pellison, expressed PETA's view that carriage tours can be cruel on a horse. Kiernan Lannon, director of the Telluride Historical Museum, urged council to amend town code because, quote, "we feel that horse-drawn tours help us achieve our mission, which is to express the history of Telluride." He said the tours would mention 13 historic sites in the town. Because PETA specifically lauded Breckenridge for outlawing carriages, Murphy called the mayor of the ski town and learned that their tours operated on streets with 25 and 35-mile-an-hour speed limits as opposed to Telluride's 15-mile-an-hour restrictions. Town attorney Kevin Geiger stressed that equine tours would be allowed only during daylight, would not be allowed between November 1st and April 1st, would not be allowed when any snow or ice is on the ground, and would not be allowed in town park or on any recreation path. The discussion concluded when each and every council member, as well as Murphy, said yes to amending the municipal code.
And now for the Dolores County Sheriff's Roundup for the week of May 21st through the 27th. A caller reported that the door to a house was standing wide open, but the car was gone out of the driveway. An officer investigated. A county resident reported a possible abandoned vehicle. Officers are investigating. A dog was found on Highway 145 that was taken to Telluride. If you are missing a dog in the Rico area, contact the Telluride Marshal's office. Local business owner called in to let the officers know there was a broken down vehicle in the lot, that it was okay to be there. A deputy responded to a non-injury accident in town. One driver was cited. Officers performed traffic control for a local resident so they could move their home. Reports and calls for concerns of fires over the weekend were reported. That concludes today's roundup. Stay tuned for continued updates.
Today's High Canyon Country Happenings, Thursday, May 31st at the Sunflower Theater in Cortez. DDAT. The show starts at 7:30 p.m. till 10. Doors open at 6:45 p.m. Tickets are $15 online and $18 at the door. DDAT, D-D-A-T, has been described as funky, poetic, complex, forward-thinking, outside the box, and bad mothers. Words by national media for good reason, blending deaf eyes, intelligent and poetic words, and hip-hop style with the hard-driving funk and jazz jams of the Delbert Anderson Trio. DDAT has carved their own path with their desert-forged influence and world-class musicianship. Saturday, June 2nd, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., an animal adoption event is being held at JC Pets in Cortez. Find the dog you've been looking for. This is a collaborative event with Denkai, Obi's Angels Rescue, and Black Hat Humane Society. JC Pets will have 10% off dog food and supplies that day. Food drive for dogs in rescue and foster care as well. There's candy, balloons, t-shirts, and stuffed animals, all being sold with proceeds benefiting the animals. For more details, you can call Obi's at 970-560-8513 or Denkai 970-562-1457. All of the happenings are posted on our DCTV News at Noon Facebook page, along with the YouTube replays, weather, stories, and events of interest. To share your event or information, contact us. It's dcbnnews@gmail.com or call the station 970-677-4119.
Thanks for tuning in. News at Noon airs at noon Monday through Thursday and then is rebroadcast at 3 and 6 p.m. on each of those days. The weekday news shows are then replayed throughout the weekend as well.
And be sure to check us out on social media. Our Facebook page is DCTV News at Noon. Please like us there and share it with a friend.
For Kendra Cook with DCTV and the News at Noon program out of Dove Creek, USA, I'm Kelsey Kiesling. Thanks for watching.